I really enjoyed it, guys.
And then low-key, I'm gonna give a little hot take. Is I don't know if Mia loved Sebastian as much as he loved her.
Hey guys, welcome to Screen Queens, the podcast where we take a deep dive into the movies that make us think, feel, and obsess. From the storytelling to the music, from the symbolism to the cinema, we break it all down and bring our own personal connections into the mix.
And today, we're starting off with the film that stole our hearts, shattered our dreams, and made us want to dance around. La La Land.
My name is Quetzali Gonzalez.
My name is Ruby Morales.
And I'm Zatali Moreno.
So, for those that have not watched La La Land, what is La La Land about?
Okay, so spoilers ahead, but basically La La Land it's a musical. It's about love, but there's some funny moments in it, some sad moments. And basically it follows Mia, who she is an aspiring actress in Los Angeles, and she runs into Sebastian, who's like this big like jazz enthusiast. And at first they don't start off really well. It's kind of like a frenemies kind of thing over the months, and eventually, they fall in love, and they're doing really well for a good like couple months, and then they both hit a point where their careers are getting really big, and they have to focus on, do we want to choose our love and work on that, or should we continue to pursue our careers? So it creates this whole like big bump, which it starts the whole main problem of the film. And basically, yeah, it's just about them finding each other, falling in love, and then they both like end up chasing their careers and are no longer together, unfortunately. But they're both doing really well on their own.
Okay, so to begin with, I want to know what y'all's first impression of La La Land was. And I know you guys had seen it before and rewatched it, so let me hear all about it.
So my first impression of this film, I think I watched it like my senior year of high school, so I was probably like 18. And when I watched it, I was like, oh, like this is such a sad movie. But it didn't really hit me as much as when I rewatched it recently. And I think I was just like, wow, you know, it talks about a lot of things that I don't necessarily always think about. But it's just something that like really gets you thinking. So that was kind of my first impression. Like, this is really good, from like the music, because I love musicals, to like even like their dialogue sometimes. So yeah.
No, yeah, definitely. I also watched it in high school. It was my junior year. I didn't know really what love was, And watching it, it just kind of showed like how it didn't have to show too much into detail, like physical like things, which I thought was so nice. And they showed it in a different way, such as in music or by quality time with each other. You could see like the ups and downs of a relationship, which was really nice for someone that hadn't been in one. And I've seen it multiple times. So the first time watching it, like I was kind of iffy because it was a musical, and I don't really like musicals. But that one really, I enjoyed it, and I just recommend it to everyone that I'm close to. So definitely after like watching it again, I kind of saw the more into depth about how like one has, not that they have to choose, but more so of like, would you sacrifice your love for your career goals and aspirations? What about you, Katsali?
Okay, so as a first time watcher of the movie, I was iffy because I don't like musicals either. So I didn't want to see it, but my friends, I went with them, and it was a really good experience. It was a fun movie. I think, I don't know, it was very different from what I've seen before. I think color played a lot, which we'll get more into depth later on. But overall, the message of the movie is really, it's very heartwarming. I feel like as a hopeless romantic, it definitely like hit my heart. But overall, I really like the movie. Okay, so now getting more in depth of the movie, I have your first question, which is, do you think La La Land is a love story or a story about ambition?
Okay, I can start. I feel like it's very complicated. I think it kind of starts off as a love story, which I think is what the director wanted us to think. And then I think it kind of turns more into like a story about ambition, because you get to see how much they love their careers, that it's like who do they love more, like do they love their career more than their partner? So I don't know, do
I personally think that it starts off with like ambition because like going off the first like scene, it's like the musical part, they're singing, and then it's Mia trying to get to her job, and she's practicing her like lines and everything. So I feel like for Mia, it was more of like an ambition story. I think for Sebastian, I think I mean, I agree. I still think it started off as like an ambition thing. He's listening to jazz because he wants to start up his own jazz club. So definitely, I think it starts out as an ambition, goals, goal setting.
yeah. And like actually now that you say that, it kind of made me think like it it really was like an ambition, and it kind of like brought up the question of like when you're so like determined for something, like how easily are you distracted by love, like how easily are you gonna let that get into your mind when you're so determined.
No, yeah, like because in the story, it basically shows that they're both pursuing their own individual goals and dreams, and eventually, like they found their way. And throughout their relationship, they're like tested on like whether to sacrifice either an audition or him with um, since he didn't want to go into a jazz group so superficial. Sebastian is going more into he wants to find a jazz that like revives the old jazz, not so much like the group he joined. And the only reason why he joined it is we'll go into depth about that as well later on. But yeah, I think it's an ambition story at the beginning.
Yeah, and then like I was thinking back on the film, like in the first opening scene with them, I actually think it's so funny how like they're both on their way to like their like career stuff, because she's on her way like to an audition. She's literally reading her script, and then he's on the way to go look at the location of the jazz club. And I think it's so funny how like it was literally like a distraction, like a car honk, but that like distracted her from like reading her lines and stuff like that.
Oh
So
my
I think
god, I really liked how you put that together. Like now that it makes me think,
yeah,
yeah, it definitely like the first scene between them describes their entire relationship in a
literally.
way. That
Well,
wow.
This is why this is a film that you have to watch like over and over again. Like you just can't watch it once, because there's so many things that you're gonna like miss out on.
Yeah, definitely, I agree.
And do you have any takes, especially since it was your first time
Yeah.
viewing it? Like, what do you think?
Cut that out. I think it's like important that we like know who we are and what our end goal is, because I think we can get distracted. And I think if Mia would have chosen love, yeah, like she probably would have not achieved her dreams. Um,
And it's like sad to like say that like if she would have fallen in love like truly and stayed with him that she wouldn't have accomplished that. And it sucks like as us as women and like pursuing our goals and furthering like our education, we really have to be like in our head and seeing like what is mostly best for us, because at the end of the day we came to college for a degree and not for love. You know, love is a bonus. It is, and it's an amazing bonus. So I definitely like you said, like I see myself as Mia as well, and like her pursuing and going after that, and like her seeing that like if a relationship's not fit for like her achieving that, then oh well, like we move on. And like you said, at the end it was more admiration of all like the things they both accomplished at the end, which was really beautiful to see.
And then low-key, I'm gonna give a little hot take. Is I don't know if Mia loved Sebastian as much as he loved her. I don't know, cause there's like scenes where it's not in a bad way. Like again, she's just so focused on herself and her career. There's so many scenes where she's just like ready, like no, we're done. Like my career, my career. And then like you literally see Seb sacrificing stuff for her. So I don't know if you guys agree with my hot take. But
I mean, we can kind of see like Mia's like personality. Like right away, she was quick to like leave her date for like this new prospect, and that can like kind of tell you the type of person she is. It's more like avoidant attachment. Like she like whenever whenever there's something bad and like it doesn't go her, not that it doesn't go her way, but like she's disappointed. Like she feels like she needs to like go away. Like when Sebastian didn't go to her play, she like decided to end it and just go back home to reflect. And I feel like she did that in the past with like her person that she was dating before Sebastian. Like instead of like facing like, oh hey, like I really kind of don't like you, like I want to pursue something else, she just got up and left, which made it kind of like a fantasy way, like oh my god, that happens in the movies, because it does happen in the movies. I don't think that happens in actual life, and that's just how it illustrates like the movie is not like a reality thing, because it also like shows them dancing in the sky, which is also beautiful but not realistic. But yeah, but my hot take, I think that Sebastian was actually like a toxic boyfriend. And hear me out. I feel like he was a toxic boyfriend because anytime she had like her, like when she got, not when she got it, but when she was doing her plays and everything, I feel like like him not showing up, even though he knew, like you can see in the scenes, like he's looking at the time for her play, but he still is not making it. And the only reason he realized that, like, oh my god, my career is not that important, like my love for her is more important, is when he looks at the keyboard and you can notice that the keyboard is in red. And so in that way, he's like taking a risk, and he's like, oh wait, like let me like actually think about this, and he starts playing their theme song, cue the theme song. And he kind of realizes, oh my gosh, I need to go with Mia. And I feel like at that point he realized he sacrificed his career, his job for Mia, but I still in a way thought he was kind of toxic. Yeah, that's my hot take.
okay, yeah, I like kind of see what you're saying. Like definitely, actually, like, like I think it was a little bit toxic, but again, I think it's like their like styles of like loving, because like Seb was willing to give up everything for her. He kind of expected the same from her. And I think that brings up like a good question in relationships, like do you always have to be like on the same page, or like are you going to like slowly like change with each other over time, you know?
I think it's valid for people to change over time because everyone's growing. You know, everyone's getting like jobs and everything, workplace environment, meeting new people, becoming friends with other people. You know, it tends to like make you like change as a person, but that doesn't mean like a relationship should change in a way. I feel like as long as like people set those boundaries in a relationship, I feel like it should be steady. Okay. So going off of what we were talking about, like if La La Land is a love story or an ambition story, do you guys think that your career goals should be sacrificed for love, or do you think love should be sacrificed for your career?
Do you want to go ahead and answer?
Okay, I guess I'll answer first. In my opinion, I think I want to say that I would sacrifice my career goals for love, but I think at the end of the day, what is gonna like always be there for you in a way, not that I'm saying your love won't be there for you, is more so the dream and that goal, career goal that you're aspiring to achieve. And once you get that, it's such a rewarding feeling. um I don't know if it tops being in love or not, but we'll see in the future if my career, is successful. And I would hope so. And I think I would, not that I would, I think I would sacrifice my love for my career goal, just like how they each did to be their better self. What do you guys think?
Yeah, and like I also think I'm someone who I'm very like sorry, I'm very career oriented. So I also think I would like tend to focus more on my career. Um, but I also think like if I never chose my career and I chose my love over it, it would in a way kind of create a grudge and like I would hold some like tension towards like my partner, and I feel like that wouldn't be good. And I also do think that like if it truly like really is true love and it's meant to be, there's ways to work around it, like my career isn't gonna be like whole like 24/7 of my life, and I feel like there's always ways to work around it. But I do think my career would come first, and then I would find like any and every way to make it work out with my love. I feel like that's kind of how I would do it.
Okay, so I'm gonna contradict y'all. I think I personally would choose love. Like I said, I'm very like hopeless romantic. I feel like love always conquers everything. But I see y'all's point of view. Like I definitely do agree with that. I guess it just depends. Like I see it more as like, oh, they could have done it together. They could have done their own thing and like achieved what they achieved together.
No, yeah, and it like shows us at the end of the like movie where it shows us what like a 5 minute scenario if they were to end up together, and it shows us
Mm-hmm.
that Sebastian actually like sacrificed his own like career goals for her because she ended up being that aspiring like actress that she wanted to be. And like you said, like yes, love conquers all, but in a way, he sacrificed for her to achieve that goal. Which, at the end of the day, it might lead to that one person in the relationship needs to sacrifice something for the other for them to be, um, I guess, their best version of themselves and like succeed in their career goals. So yeah, I mean, I like how you think about love. I think it's great.
And then so like because she talked about how the end scene was of how like them being in love, like I have another question for you guys. Like I always wondered, like, do you guys think that Mia really did still love him at the end of the movie, or do you guys think she kind of like, because she was there with her husband, do you guys think she saw him and was like, oh, like what a sweet time, I was in love, but I no longer love him? Or do y'all still think maybe she has a little bit of love left inside of her? What do you guys think?
I think based off like that last scene of her seeing him there at the club, I think she was more shocked as to like she found her way back to him in a way, and she was with someone else, and she finally like succeeded in the way she wanted to by being an actress. And for her, it took like a toll on her, which kind of set her back, and like she was very like, whoa, wow, what's going on? And I think that she, not that she still had love for him, but more so in admiration that he also achieved those goals. He became cut that word. Um, she saw that Sebastian actually made his own jazz club and said everything that he was going to do from the beginning of their relationship was to make jazz alive again, and which he did. And I think she found admiration for him for that. What do you guys think?
Personally, I think that she still had some love left in her. I feel like there was always that what if, like what if she would have stayed, like what would have happened. And I'm not saying like she didn't love her husband then, but I feel like she still had that love, and maybe it was like admiration, how you mentioned. but personally, I feel like I would have still loved him if I lived all of that.
Yeah, like how long do you guys think it's okay to love someone after your whole like story is done with them? You know, like y'all know like those like old little like ladies who are like, oh, like my first love when I was
Oh, yes, I've seen those stories, like the first love theory and everything. I feel like I have like a different opinion than a lot of people. I think like and when I love really hard, and you can tell when I love someone deeply. However, I feel like after they do me like and not do me dirty or anything, but like they disappoint me in a way. It's just how can I get back from that? Like I give you so much love for you to disappoint me, and for me I kind of like learned to detach myself, so like I can fully say that like I stop loving someone like after disappointment and deception for sure. Yeah, what do you guys think, like your first like the first love theory, like and everything?
Mhm. Yeah, like I've heard a lot about like a lot. And I also do think it like really depends on like the situation. Like if it ends badly, then like yeah, like all the way like you're done. But like I don't know, what if it ended like organically, like it just needed to end, and you know, like years later, like are you really gonna be thinking like, oh, like that one person from like 20 years ago, like is that realistic? I don't know.
I mean, the movie kind of like shows it because they're having their last moment on the bench, where they're seeing around like the city, and it's what is it, sunsetting, well it's sunrise or sunsetting, and they're like organically mutually breaking up and saying this is what's best, and they did show that like years later they see each other, and like yeah, maybe they did still have love for each other, but I think more so in a way of like the time spent, like the memories came flushing back, and it was like it was a nice time. They made me, without them I wouldn't be here. More love than being in love, you know?
Okay, so as a first time watcher, I noticed there was a lot of different colors. There was blue, yellow, red. Was there deeper meaning behind the different colors?
I mean, that's why I told you guys to wear solid colors, but yeah, because usually like the colors are like red is for anger, blue is for sad, and then yellow is for like happiness. And what like the director, like Damien Chazelle, wanted to illustrate was a deeper emotion through like the wardrobe as well as like the colors in the film. And I know for a fact like Mia represents the color blue. She's seen wearing blue when she first meets Sebastian, uh, and Sebastian's wearing red when he first like meets Mia. And yeah, uh,
No, yeah, I definitely think that color has a lot to do with the film, because there's like even this image where they like compress the whole like movie file into like a short image, and if you look at it, it just looks like a bunch of lines of like purple, like red, and then like just different colors, but it's mostly the purple, red, blue, and like a little bit of yellow and green. And I think that just comes to show how like colors make a full circle in a film. So like at first you don't think anything of the colors, but after watching it a couple times, I did notice like there's prominent colors when like something is happening in their lives. Like for example, like I'm wearing yellow, and there's like four major like turning scenes in the film. So I think like you see yellow every time something new is happening. Like the first time me and Seb have their dance together, he's wearing the iconic yellow dress. Or when Mia gets her first big role, like the person who like like what is it called?
auditioned
Audition
or
or
the
interview or something
interviewer.
like that. She's wearing like a bright yellow shirt, and then when Seb buys his club, the guy's wearing like a yellow button down.
Oh, and then when Seb was also getting offered a job by John Legend's character, I don't know his name, but John Legend.
Yeah, it's yellow.
Yeah. So it's like every time like the character is going through like a change in a way. You know what I noticed too? That green happens a lot like when there's like a change in the relationship. So like at the beginning when they first like when Sebastian goes and visits Mia at like the coffee shop, like when they leave, like the coffee shop is like green, and then when they're like having their like intimate moment at the piano, like the light around them is green, signifying like they're falling deeper in love into the relationship. And then another time it was green was when they've had their first argument as well. So I feel like green kind of represents like the phases in their relationship.
Yeah. And then like obviously like you see blue and like the red. I think it was so cool how like I mean we all know like blue, red make purple. So I think it was so cool how like he was red and she was blue like in the beginning. And then every time that they were like in love, it turned into purple. I think it was like so cool how like the director was able to like do that. I think it just like it really impacted you without like knowing it. Like the colors alone told the story. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and it's super cool like how the first time you watch it, you don't really notice those things. And definitely I had to continue watching it to really see like, oh, this is why he used these colors. And like we said, like when they mesh, it turned into purple. So it really shows like the peak of their relationship, which is really nice to see. Like, oh, like when everything is flowing in a relationship, they had that purple mesh color, which is really nice to see. And it gives the audience like a feeling of like, oh, like they're in love, like their colors like combined and it's all mixed together, which is a beautiful thing. Honestly, he's telling a great story.
And then like I was also thinking about it, and like in the scene where she's like having dinner with like her boyfriend, and she
Oh,
runs to go see Seb. It's like they clearly show her running towards a red light, which is like Seb's color is red. So I think it was so cool how like they literally had her to like his light. I think that was really cool.
no, yeah. But like can we talk about like was that a red flag that she was like gonna
Yeah.
go with Sebastian as she was like, dating someone? But that's besides the point. Overall, the story was beautiful.
Okay, so as someone who's watched this movie like too many times, um, I like I was like watching it really intently last time that I watched, and I think that the director made like a really good parallel. So like one of their first dates, they went to go watch a movie. I think it was called
Rebel without a cause or with a cause or something?
yeah, like that movie, and it's like a vintagey film, and there's like this place called the Observatory, and it's in LA. And basically, when they're watching the movie, um, they like see that there's like a car, and it like so in the film like that they're watching at the movie theater, there's a car, and it's like going up the road to the observatory, and like the car literally like bumps like in a specific way.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like right after it cuts to like me and Seb actually going to observatory, and like if you pay like really close attention, their car does like the same little bump, and I feel like that was such a good parallel to see how their love was so good at that moment. It was like a movie.
Yeah, and like going off like when you're saying like their love is like a movie. It's like when they like saw each other over like the summer, and he was in like a superficial like jazz like group band, and she like um requested a song that kind of made fun of his like musician like expertise, and he
Oh
like
yeah.
comes up to her after, and they're like having a little combo, and then he finally gets her name and what she does and where she works, and then he goes, I guess I'll see you in the movies. So
Yeah.
that's a like really cool parallel to like go back and forth,
Mhm.
because I didn't know when I was first watching it. I didn't know he had said that, and I think I saw like someone talk about it saying like, oh my gosh, he said that. And I thought it was really cool. I was like, wow, he kind of predicted that he was going to see her in the film, in the movie.
Yeah, and then like when he said that, like as seen in the movies, it was kind of in a way like, okay, bye, like who are you? Like I'm never gonna see you again, you know? So that also like got me thinking like he kind of knew like it wasn't gonna go anywhere with her, and I feel like even at the beginning of the film, they're walking and she tells Seb like, oh, I don't like jazz, and then he's like, this is not gonna work out. So like I don't know. I guess my question is, I feel like they kind of knew things weren't gonna work out, yet they still tried it. So I don't know. I want to ask y'all, like, would you keep being with someone knowing that it's not, that there is gonna be an end to it? Like, are you gonna date someone knowing that there's gonna be an end to it, or are you just gonna cut it off? But you're like in love, you know?
So I think that I would be with someone, even though that I know I'm not gonna be like, it's not gonna be like end game or whatever. I just feel like in life, so many things happen, and it's best to try something because then you'll regret not doing it. And that's how I live. And I feel like if Mia wouldn't have like tried to be with Sebastian or love him or the other way around, I truly think that they wouldn't have reached their end goals, like to be an actress and for him to own a jazz club. So I really think like the things you do now affects what happens in the future. It makes you the person you are.
Yeah, and like I'm someone who wants to make the most out of everything. Like I'm gonna be like, okay, we can be together until that time. Like, why not like enjoy the moment? Like, why are you so focused on your career? You know, like you can make the most out of what you have, make like the most memories, so that you at least said you tried it. What do you think?
I think I'm gonna contradict again because I do think like if you're with someone and you know it's not gonna be like long term, I think that's just my mentality. Like I date to marry. So like you're constantly, well, not constantly, but I also think like the best love is always like gonna be the unexpected one. So obviously like their love story, it wasn't expected. Like they fell in love. Um,
I was gonna say, do you think like unexpected love is like the best type of love? Like, what do you guys think is the best type of love? Because for them, like you mentioned, like it was very unexpected. She was truly just walking down the street and she heard a song she enjoyed and tried. And when she tried, he didn't want to, and somehow they ended up making their way back to each other, which is truly like unexpected. So, what do you guys think? Like love, the best type of love is unexpected.
I think I think it is unexpected because you're not actively looking for it. I feel like when you're actively looking for love, you're, even if it's like someone good, because you want it to be like your love, you're gonna be looking at all the bad things as well, or like you're gonna be too caught up on like they need to be so perfect. Whereas like if you're not looking for it, they'll like come into your life, and then you're not worried about, oh, like they have to be my love, like they have to be the most perfect guy. So like yeah, it comes best when it's unexpected, just because it like, I think things come to you and you don't even like know that you need it.
Yeah, like she said, like things come unexpected, and if you start like looking for love, you're gonna have like an expectation, and you're gonna feel very disappointed if they don't meet that expectation or they don't reach it. And it's at the end of the day, it's gonna start hurting you more than it hurts like the relationship because you're expecting them to already know how to like love you in a way, but they're just barely getting to know who the person you are. So, with that being said,
But I also think that you should also be at a right state to be in love. Like yes, it does come when you're least unexpected, but you do have to be in the right state of mind. Like you have to be able to like know how to love back, because it's the whole thing, like, you know, you gotta love yourself first before you can love someone else. But I do think that's a thing, because if you're too stressed and like you're not going to be able to manage like someone else and stuff like that.
no, yeah, and like relating that back to like the movie, do you guys think like both Mia and Sebastian were like ready to fall in love? Like, yeah, it was unexpected. But do you guys think like they were at a point in their lives where they were ready to like fully be like vulnerable with someone and like find a person to enjoy life with, or do you think it was purely like, um, I don't know, uh,
No, I feel like they weren't, and for different reasons. I feel like Seb was kind of ready to fall in love, but he, to me, like he gave me more of the vibe like he was willing to sacrifice everything about himself for her. Like he would literally sacrifice like his dream goals of like his jazz club for her, where like she was unready in a different way by being, I wouldn't say selfish because it's not selfish, but she was so focused on herself, which is good. She was trying to prioritize herself, where he was so selfless. So I think they both needed to find like a balance in that because their ways of loving weren't lining up. So maybe they, not that they weren't ready to love, but they weren't ready to love each other.
Now, going into a more personal level, I feel like this movie for me was more like it was very intriguing to like see how an adult relationship is. Like I mentioned at the beginning, I saw this when I was a junior in high school. Did not know what love was. Did not know like all the things you had to do to sacrifice either your love or your career goals for this one specific person. And now that I'm here, I feel like the movie to me relates like super similar because you have to go through those like not not that you have to go through relationships, but for me, I had to go through my relationship to be the person I am today. And for my past relationships, I feel like it made me into a person more disciplined, more affirmative, and just not to get brought down all the time. And it truly made me into a more confident person that I am today. What do you guys think? Do you guys think the like movie like changed you in a way, or how did it make you guys feel?
Yeah, I don't know. When I first watched it, I was like, wow, like I love that movie. Like it's up there. But then when I recently watched it again, I was like, wow, I love that movie, and it's up there because I feel like I can relate to it in some ways. Like first of all, like the whole thing about Mia like loving LA and wanting this big grand career, like that's something that resonates with me. I'm like I want to have this grand career. Like I want to go back to California and continue my career there. Like I related to it, and like first of all, the aspect of like, wow, like I don't know, it just made it seem like, oh, like I can't wait for my career. But then also like on a deeper level about like always like loving like those who made up a part of like your life, even like friends that I no longer talk to, but I did love them at one point. I feel like I'm always gonna have like a little spot where I'm like, oh, like I wish them the best, like no matter what. Like they were a really good friend to me, and like maybe our lives just didn't align. So I think I also resonated with that, like how in the end scene she just like looks at him and admires him. Like I still admire like all my friends, like when they're like doing so great, and I just can't see them because like we're in different states and stuff like that. So I feel like it kind of just gave me like a little warm feeling, like yeah, like always, like I'm always gonna be proud of like another person's accomplishments and always wish them the best.
Okay, so my overall personal connection to the movie, I really saw like myself and Mia, I guess, like how sometimes you don't align with your partner's like end goals, and you ultimately like have to choose. It's either yourself or choosing like love, I guess. Um so I think like even in college now we're going to be like meeting a lot of people. Like we're young, we're going to be meeting different kinds of people from all walks of life. I think it's like important that we like know who we are and what we our end goal is, because I think we can get distracted. And I think if Mia would have chosen love, yeah, like she probably would have not achieved her dreams.
Yeah, like you bring up a good point. Like, do you like if a person should like if they're changing in a relationship, like how does that reflect themselves in the relationship? And I feel like as people are growing, obviously like people are going to change no matter what because they're going through phases. For us, for example, we're like meeting new people here in college, in our classes, networking and everything, and we're just growing as professionals in a way. And I feel like in a relationship, having like a good foundation and always communicating is like key factor with like all the ups and downs and everything. Like for example, like I feel like if Mia and Sebastian would have communicated like pretty well, like, hey, you working like so much, like I like that you are working and you're taking that initiative to like have a stable income, but like just we just don't spend that much time together, and you kind of I feel some type of way that you think that you're not doing enough for me. And I feel like if they just would have communicated right, maybe they would have ended up being together. And I thought it was like super interesting, like seeing like how Sebastian was always like kind of like sacrificing most of his like career goals for her. I don't think once in the movie she like sacrificed anything, and like I would for sure want to like I wonder like how it would have gone if like the roles were reversed. Like if Mia was the one sacrificing her career goals for him to pursue like what he wanted at the end of the day was jazz club.
No, yeah. And like actually, I feel like the director kind of did that on purpose, because usually like from history, you always see like the woman is the one who's sacrificing everything. Like she doesn't even like work sometimes um for the man. And I feel like in La La Land it did such a good job at kind of reversing the roles in a way. It was like Mia was the one that was pursuing her career, whereas Seb was the one that was like adapting to her. So I think that was like something that could get overlooked. But if you really think about it, like it it does make you think like, wow, like I don't know, she was able to pursue her career, which is something that's not really depicted in many movies. So
And I think as like, I guess it's trendy to be like, oh, woman empowerment. So I think definitely like when the movie came out, when did it come out? 2016. Yeah, so for sure, like a lot of movements of like women empowerment. So I think the director was very intentional on like the role of Mia and what she did.
Yeah, and like going off, I think it's very important for like us as women, like in like we're first generation going into like college, and we really need to like know where our mind is at and what we want to pursue, and not just yeah, like being in love is nice, it's a bonus, but at the end of the day, we can't really get distracted because we came here for a reason, and that reason is to like get a degree, get a job, you know? Yeah.
so with that, I guess we would say, stay focused, find love, but don't get too distracted. Um, and then, we saw Mia and Sebastian fall in love, fall out of love, and finally kind of reconnect again. So, I don't know. Are y'all still in love with your first love? Comment down below. But yeah, that was our podcast where we crowned La La Land as one of our personal favorites. And if you have any other recommendations, leave them down below. And stay tuned for our next episode. So that's it. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Do you guys think
The next question is.
Yeah, so
Oh, I had another point.
um can we just cut that off?
you were so good.